feeds Emmanuel Quatch. Wing three is long, rebound Jenkins, and this one is over. Rebels win it 53-46 at the Thomas and Mack. The Lobos streak extends to 8 games to start conference play without a victory, and UNLV evens its conference mark at 2-2.
The excited tones of Robert Portnoy, courtesy of UNM Sports Radio Network. Lobos fall to 0-8 in Mountain West Conference after a 53-46 loss last night in Vegas, a game in which they had the lead at halftime, a game in which they had the lead with 5 minutes to go, a game in which they had a chance, and a game in which they could not finish, a game in which, once again, they could not score, a game in which they did not shoot well from the field and turned the ball over 20 times. Good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. It's your opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 The Sports Animal. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. Micah's producing for you down at Radio Ranch, and the tag team duo of Alden and Josh at ProView Networks on the TV side waving at you so enthusiastically on a Tuesday morning. JJ, sometimes it's so hard to watch because this is, and after watching, now 8 games into conference play, this is the worst shooting Lobo team I've seen in 25 years. And again, this is nothing against the young men. This is just, and I think the facts bear it out. And we'll talk about what it means to learn to win, because I asked that question a number of times last night in the post game, because they were in position to win, and down the stretch, Bryce Hamilton got really hot for UNLV. I thought they did a decent enough job on him defensively. I thought that's just when the best player on the floor took over was down the stretch. But opportunity after opportunity, whether it's missed dunks, missed breakaways, one player shooting 2 air balls on one possession, which I'm not sure I've ever seen before. Yep, closer, yep, better. If you're looking for positives, I'm listening to them because maybe you got something last night. But the bottom line was that was a chance against a team that could be had, and it slipped away last night.
Best defensive performance of the season for the Lobos, and it's something that we've talked about a lot, is what style of play, who are these Lobos going to be? And what we saw last night is who they need to be to have a chance, and that is just make it a half-court battle, grind it out, extend possessions, defend like crazy, because we know it, they're not good offensively, so they're not going to be creating a lot of offense. So you just got to grind, and they did that. And I thought they played really hard defensively. It was effective in the first half, pretty much the entire game. When you look at it, and UNLV scored 53 points, and Bryce Hamilton hit some tough shots late, taking over, as you said, being the best player on the floor. And then Paul Weir said it after the game. He said the way that they're trending a game like what happened last night is who they're going to have to be the rest of the way. Just defend like crazy, make it a game in the 50s, so they have a chance, as they did in the final minutes. But it was finishing. They're 1 of 6 from the field with 3 turnovers in the final 10 possessions. To your point on learning how to win, we got to learn how to survive those moments. And it's the different ways you can look at it, and we're all sitting there going, well, what happened in the final 5 minutes? And then from a coach's standpoint, when you asked Paul that, we talked about just the overall game, and when the accumulation of the turnovers, the inability to finish possessions, to start adding up, and then it's highlighted, it's magnified in those moments. But those are winning moments, and UNLV had a player in Bryce Hamilton who's been there, done that before, can step up, hit a tough shot. Lobos don't have that guy.
Yeah, I thought down the stretch they just looked uncomfortable offensively, and I asked Manuel Quatch that, and Valdir Manuel after the game just said, look, we haven't been in that situation before, and they haven't. They've been getting beat by an average of 25 points per game in conference play, and last night they get beat by 7. If that makes you feel better, okay. Does that tell you that they're getting closer? We'll see this week. They'll get an opportunity on Thursday against the San Jose State team, who's got 2 wins all year, and they'll play them at their current rented residence in St. George, Utah, Dixie State. I learning how to win, and I've talked about it a lot over years. I do believe there's something to that. You learn how to win, and this group obviously is not. But JJ, to you offensively down the stretch, did they look comfortable to you?
Not at all. The offense has not looked good at any point in time in Mountain West play. Like they're getting their points. It's a grind. It's getting inside. Singleton had a nice game, but unfortunately he wasn't able to be a factor late in the second half. Malawach is trying but not finishing a lot of those shots. And then it's little things. You mentioned Javante Johnson breakaway dunk that he misses in the game, and those things is still standing out along the way as all those possessions that you look back on and go, that was a lost possession. To your point of the worst shooting team you've seen, I don't recall a team that has that many shot clock violations against them as the Lobos have had.
Well, it's just empty possessions, right? And when you're missing shots, when you're turning the ball over 20 times last night, shot clock violations, whatever it happens to be, they pile up and they pile up. And when you shoot, what was it, 17 for 49 from the field, 34.7%. And now UNLV for the game wasn't much better. Right? UNLV only shot 36.7%, but they made shots down the stretch. They made stops down the stretch. Jeremiah Francis, I know. I watch it with my own eyes. And I really like Jeremiah Francis. And I'm waiting for him. I thought he gave you some minutes. He hit a couple shots, and then he had 2 air balls on 1 possession coming down the stretch. Gigi, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't. My notes aren't probably as good as yours. Did they score with 3 field goals and have 12 points the final 17 minutes? Is that what you've got?
Yeah, it was not a good stretch. I'm going to side with you on that one and look into it, but it wasn't good.
Yeah, all right, and I don't know where you go. To your point on Paul's comments after the games on efficiency, that's who they're going to have to be. So what does that mean, right? I mean, as a fan, you're sitting there going, well, what do you mean? You got beat. It's going to have to be a grinded out game. It's going to have to be finding ways to score, creating a couple of points here and there off of defense, and games in the 50s. Now they got to get to the 50s to win games in the 50s, which they're not doing on a regular basis. But they scored 46 last night. There's a couple of things that are disappointing. And I get a little bit of the Jeremiah Francis thing. He hasn't played in 3 years, right? And this year's been so bizarre. He was injured his first couple of years in high school. He played limited last year at North Carolina. And so I'm waiting for that to happen. And then the Rod Brown thing is somewhat baffling to me. He had an open shot from about 14 and hit the backboard first, right? And I know the commentator said he had to shoot over Zhang. Those 2 guys, I guess I expected more out of. Just pedigree, from where they came, preseason hype, and I'm always really loath to buy into the preseason hype, but I'm waiting to see more out of Rod Brown, and maybe I'm just going to be waiting for a while.
Yeah, I think what we see is he's not a scorer, and so he's a player that's going to give you some physicality, hope can battle defensively, rebound the basketball. But other than that, where's he going to get his points? Is he going to shoot the basketball? No. So that's who Rod Brown is. But on a team that doesn't have a lot of scorers, he looks like just another guy that is really, 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 really struggling, which he is to a certain extent. His minutes got really cut last night as Paul Ware can shorten the rotation, try different things. Now Jeremiah Francis, and the shooting slump is just unreal. The starting point guard position going in to this Mountain West series, the shooting slump was absolutely just crazy. It was 1 for 31 for the starting point guards coming in to the previous 2 games, and neither of those guys, Isaiah Marin or Jeremiah Francis, started. It was Saquon Singleton, who is another player that I like, but it's the little things you like still don't matter when it's an entire team that's trying to figure out who they are. But back to your point on Francis, it's also really tough for any starting point guard on this team when no one makes a shot. So if those guys aren't scoring, then what is the point guard supposed to do?
Look, it's tough on everyone when no one makes a shot. I thought Singleton was actually pretty good in the first half. And I was going to ask Paul, but he addressed it as fatigue in the second half. He said Saquon got fatigued in the second half, and so he was there. I would have liked to see him more involved in the offense coming out of the locker room. I thought he was a guy that was making things happen. He was one of the few guys in the half-court offense that was making something happen in the first half. Emmanuel Quach came and hit the big shot at the end of the half to give them the lead back, which I actually thought was going to be a big deal momentum-wise going in, just mentally. They led the whole half, and then to be down, and then Quach hits that shot at the horn to give them the 1-point lead. I thought that was going to be a big deal. I just wanted to see Singleton more involved coming out of the locker room, because I thought he was the one guy in the first half, and I think he scored 10 of his 11 in the first half, who was giving you something in a half-court offense that was giving you a spark. I'm not going to say that was playing with energy, because I thought they actually played with some decent energy yesterday, but decent, not great. But that was one of those things where I sat there in the second half scratching my head and said, what am I missing here? That they're not drawing stuff up, that they're not making it a point to get Saquon Singleton more involved.
Singleton going downhill is one of the few positives that this team had last night and kind of has in their arsenal on offense. Is just get him going towards the basket, finishing through contact. He's got the length, he's got the size to deal with it, and I'm right there with you. It's something that it's not simple, but everyone looks at this offense and is just trying to figure out, like, what would we do? What would I do if I was in that situation? And that's one of those players, whether it's one-on-one or pick and roll, just try to get him going downhill to create. And him not being there in the second half was incredibly frustrating to watch, especially in the final minutes when you needed someone to take over. UNLV had that. Bryce Hamilton, their lead guard, stepped up. And Lobos were just sitting there going, does anyone want to try this? Anyone?
And that's where I would have liked to see the ball in his hands, because he was, to me, the only one who consistently looked confident and comfortable with the ball in his hand in a half-court offense. Look, McQuatch had a rough night, I thought. He turned the ball over 4 times. He threw the ball away in a clutch moment underneath. Gottlieb called it a panic turnover, and it looked like it, right? I mean, he got caught underneath the basket, and it was a horrible pass in a clutch situation. He shot 3 for 12 last night. Did have 8 rebounds and led the team, but he had 9 points, 8 rebounds last night. I thought he was okay. It just looked like he was struggling. When we come back, I want to get into the bigs and what you get out of them. Now, you get a good shooting percentage out of them, 6 out of 8 between Matos and Manuel. But what does that mean? And can an offense run through that? How'd you feel? I'm not looking for roses, man. I'm really not. I watch the same thing you all watch. JJ watched the same thing you all watch. It's rough. Did you feel there was progress last night, or is that just 2 bad teams that we watched? And that could be it too now, because UNLV wasn't all that good either. Was it 2 bad teams? Was it progress? How do you feel? You get Thursday, you're going to get a San Jose State team who, I don't know if they're better or not than Dixie State, but I think they are. But whose best team left, who's going through a lot of what you're going through. They're on the road as well. So we'll talk about that. 505-246-0610 is how to get to us today. That's 505-246-0610. Your emails come in this morning. It's Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. Follow JJ on the Twitter, and you can tweet at him at _JJ Buck, and on the Facebook, you can watch the show and send us something at the OD in the AM. We're going to talk about the bigs. Lobo basketball is the topic. Love to hear your thoughts on a 7-point loss last night at UNLV, 53-46. You're watching us on ProView Networks and listen to 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
You've seen Rich Eisen on TV and heard him on the radio.
Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
run and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really... Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hiron. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hiron. The two-hand hammer by Hiron. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District mashup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh! Nick Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win. And he got it! It's good. Oh my God! On the last second shot. He did. Oh my God! Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in. Ramos to Gaxiola. High window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The difference, and part of that is the stress of the game, the overwhelming of the game. We rush, we get sped up, and we kind of do things we don't really want to do. Part of it is maybe just us maybe calling the wrong thing, so I think coaches can take a little bit of a hit on that, but you can't turn the ball over 20 times on the road and win. No matter how good our defense was, or I thought our effort was pretty good tonight, we've got to find a way to take better care of the basketball to win a game like this.
Paul Weir, after a 53-46 loss last night at UNLV, their 8th straight in conference play to open up the season. They are now 0-8, 4-8 over. 4-8 overall. 4-8 overall. And next up, San Jose State. It's going to be the afternoon on Thursday, right? 1 o'clock Thursday afternoon over on News Radio KKOB, which is bizarre. You're probably going to have to find a computer, I think, to watch that. Couple of things. And the turnovers, JJ, I agree with you on that was their best defensive half that I've seen of the season. I didn't see a lot of I didn't watch them play Torino, but to me, playing against the staff of a French restaurant doesn't much count. In Our Lady of the Lake against a Mountain West team, that was the best that I've seen that played defensively. I thought effort-wise, I thought they came out and wanted to win a basketball game. I'm not going to fault them effort-wise, and I think there's a lot to being, playing these games in these empty arenas and everything that goes with it. I said it earlier. I believe it. It's the worst shooting Lobo team I've seen in my 25 years watching this. And so, where do you get offense? And so this is where I'm gonna ask you about the post. Now, Zhang is a difference maker, and they're two big guys. Valdir Manuel and Byron Matos combined for 9 points. That they went 6 of 8 shooting. Now Valdir's two of his shots were 3-pointers. Can you run some offense through the post? Or probably not with Zhang there, but against a team like San Jose State who doesn't have that post presence. I think you get San Diego State after that. They've got Mensa, but can you run some offense through the post and try to create something out of there with these two guys as they develop?
You have to, because it's about development. And I thought it's, when I was tweeting out the game, throwing my thoughts out there last night, and sometimes I'm like, this sounds so ridiculous, but it's what the point we're at. I'm like, 2 good post touches for Matos to start the game. Like that's where we're at with Lobo basketball, and especially for those guys, because they're still so young and raw as basketball players. They need those moments. You need to get them looks. Need to let them, try to develop. Because Matos has got the body, but he's got to learn how to do it in a game. Get the ball inside, work with whatever shot he likes to do, whether it's going over the shoulder or turning around.
Figure it out. Yeah,
I agree with you. Just get them involved early. And I thought Valdir, that was the best game he's played because he actually saw some shots fall and he was confident stepping into it, really active defensively. And that's the thing, is the frames are there on both these guys to be effective players. They just need the experience. And sometimes what happens when you're trying to get experience is failures along the way. But I think you're right in terms of pointing out a couple of the positives, and it was those guys. Now, unfortunately for Matos, it was those 4 points early and then really nothing else the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But I agree with you on just getting them post touches. Work.
And also maybe running some high-low picks, something to get to create some mismatches, right? Run them off the perimeter and then get them down low, where maybe when there is you're being guarded by a guy like Zhang, where you can create a mismatch now and then, because there were a few times where you're like, look who's guarding Matos, get him the ball, and let's see him go to work on post moves. And to your point, he's underdeveloped and it's going to take a long time. Again, for a team look, I'm not looking to be a jerk. They're 0-8. They're not very good, and so find a place to develop some offense, because to me there was one place you were finding it in the first half, and that was Singleton. I thought Quach came off the bench and gave you some nice minutes. He hit the 2 3-pointers, and he had 5 points, or 6 points for you. But I think something's got to run through the post at least. And if I'm not telling you to force it, but you've got 2 guys that feel like, I get it. They're young. They're all this. At some point, they're not young anymore. Like. How many games in? We always hear late in the season, they're not freshmen anymore. Well, okay, they are. But at some point, right, you got to work with the big guys. That's what Scott Padgett was brought in for, right? Wasn't he supposed to be like a great guru of big men with Matos and Manuel? And so let's see what they're doing down there. And I'm not telling you to force it and try to get through Zhang and some of these big shot blockers. But they started 2 bigs yesterday for the first time, right? He can't guard both of them at the same time. And I'd like to see something go through there, and like I said earlier, I want to see Francis get out of his slump, and give me more Saquon Singleton, because that's what you got offensively.
And it's these moments where almost like, what do you have to lose when you're 0-8? Is
right.
Say, all right, Matos, this is your set. Go finish. Let's work on it. I'm all about the high-low game with 2 bigs on the floor, and then even putting McQuatch Malawach, I think getting him the ball in the high post, potentially initiating some offense out of there could be really good for him. Try to make him, say, a creator first, and then let him get into the game, find a shot, instead of having to be someone that is forcing shot late in the shot clock, because he's not going to create space. He's a guy that's better in rhythm or going downhill. So maybe anything to initiate that offense, and start in the middle, work off that.
That's a guy I like so much, and he looks to me like he's getting more uncomfortable as this thing goes on. He, to me, never once last night looked comfortable, and I get it every time. when you watch a game on TV, they've got to highlight a player for each team. So it's got to be Malawach, and every time it's Malawach, and he's got to take over. And there's your guy. Oh, he's having a rough. And I know I say this every day. He's not a guy who's going to give you 20-plus points a night. It's just not who he is. He's a good third option, but on this team, he doesn't have that opportunity to be a third option. You're forcing him into a different role. I understand why. It's not who he is, and honestly, JJ, last night was as uncomfortable to me from where I sit that as he's looked in the last bunch of games, because it feels like there's so much on him to get him over the top. And again, he was 3 for 12. Now, he did have 8 rebounds, and he turned the ball over 4 times, and he didn't play well.
It feels like he's obviously trying to be that guy. Like, I have to go out here and score 20 points for our team, and there's definitely an element of that where he's not comfortable in that role, opposed to finding his way in the offense. But it's hard to find your way in an offense when no one else is doing anything, and thus you get uncomfortable Coach Malawach that ends up turning the basketball over, is forcing shots because he doesn't create his own space on shots. And so it's hard to watch, because I think ultimately, he's been one of the he has been a leader. I know there was a video posted by Isabel Gonzalez last night after the game.
Yeah.
The team heads down, walking off the floor. Malawach is just trying to be like, hey, let's go. High five. He's talking to the coaches. Like, he's trying to be that presence because he is a good character guy, a leader on this team. But when you just got the frustration level when he's trying everything, but it's not coming through on the floor, to still have that mindset, as Paul described post-game, says everything about who he is. It's really a bummer when you hear it about how good of a person he is, and it's not like he just can't be that guy on the court all the time, and it's a bummer to see.
I have no doubt he's a good guy. Yeah. None. I have no doubt he's a good leader. None. He's just not a take-over-the-game basketball player. And that's not a knock on him. He's a good basketball player. He's not like what Bryce Hamilton did last night. Mm-hmm. Game on the line for UNLV. Give me the ball. Let me create. Let me splash a few and put the game away. Like with all due respect, and I like him a lot, and he's a good player, and I want him on my team. He's not that guy. And that's the role he's in, because they don't. All right, we're going to go to the phones. I want to talk to you a little bit about the offense, because there's somebody quite. What do you do? Somebody asked me yesterday, is it the players, is it the offense? Yes, right? Yes. We're going to go to the phones. If you're there, stand by. I got 2 lines open at 505-246-0610. You can call us when we get into Lobo basketball. We're going to get into the NFL. We're got to get into what's going on with the New York Mets. Jared Porter, their GM, fired this morning for sending illicit texts back in 2016 to a female reporter. And once the media gets a hold of that, you better run if that happened. I mean, just how about this? Don't do it, because you're always going to be thinking, boy, I hope that never gets out. 505-246-0610 on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay to get the measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. It's into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
He'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up and wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Siembieda. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And off, great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Shoot a shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's the long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Fork driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good. Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Cropper.
And
he's doubled. Throws it out high to McQuatch. Catch and shoot deep three. Good! Yes. Malawatch with a clutch tray. Lobos within 4.
Robert Portnoy, Hunter Green on the UNM Radio Network. Lobos lose 53-46 last night at the Thomas and Mack Center to the Runnin' Rebels. 0-8 next up. Thursday afternoon, Dixie State will host the Lobos and San Jose State. That's right. UNM, San Jose State, and St. George, Utah. Don't tell me it's 2020 anymore. Well, it's 2021. It's pandemic basketball.
It's what I look forward to Thursday afternoon, 1 o'clock. Basketball from St. George, Utah.
Day basketball. All right, 505-246-0610. Let's go to it. Jay, thanks for holding. Good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Jeff and JJ. How are you all this morning?
Excellent. How you living?
Living in this wind. This is craziness.
Nuts.
Gale force winds out there. So let me get to it. So first of all, let me just say something. You know, around here, Craig Neal was not revered for a lot of things, but I remember a quote from Craig Neal. He said something, and this was in regards to Hugh Greenwood. And that was, that's great, but what happens when he becomes the top of the scouting report? And he made that in reference to the potential of him his senior year. And I think that's what you're seeing with Malawatch. Like, when you become the focus of the scouting report, it puts a burden on that young man.
Yeah, but I think that's the fault of the – he's not. I think that both in Hugh's case, JJ, and tell me if you disagree, Hugh and McQuatch, I think that's the fault of the coaching staff to not build around him and find more players that are go-to and make sure he's in his role. I don't think just because you become a senior you get elevated to having to be the go-to guy.
Well, yes, certainly, and I agree with that. But I think sometimes when you become the folks of the scouting report, you're the one that they're going to devise defenses to take you out of the game first. You know, when you game plan, the first thing you do is you take away their best option. So he becomes he's the person that most teams are going to focus on and take him away first.
All right.
So I agree with you. Next thing is the one thing I noticed watching the Lobos last night is that they lack a go-to scorer. They lack a guy that, and this is probably something that is very key in this year, and that is that, you know, when you see good teams stop a run, it's usually they'll have a guy that can get you a bucket. You know, you get him the ball, he's going to get you a bucket, whether it be a post player, whether it be a guard that can break the defense down. It's usually some guy that can get you a bucket to stop a run, or when you, as you saw with Bryce Hamilton last night, can get you a bucket to just go on a little run in a 4-minute stretch at the end of the game. I think the Lobos lack that kind of guy. And then lastly, I'm going to say something that might be very unpopular, but maybe it's conversation. Matos, great looking dude coming off the bus. But I think his parallel is Shili Napalway from New Mexico State a couple of years ago, where that guy he looked great coming off the bus, and he became a very reliable
by
post
his senior
player.
year, he became a good player.
Senior year.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah, by his senior year, he became a good player.
He became a good player, but it took a lot of development. You know, he was just this huge, hulking mass of a young man, and he was able to build himself into a great post player. Or not a great one, but a good post player, a very good one. Yeah. So those are my thoughts about the Lobos. Thank you for taking my call, and thanks for the time, gents.
Thank you, Jay. JJ, the Shili Napalway was a specimen now, too.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah,
and I think that's
good.
the frustrating thing is the hype for Matos was this dude's going to step on the floor and be a double-double. No. That's not the case. The dude's a double-double in the weight room, but still trying to figure out how to get to 5-5 in a basketball game.
Yeah, I had made that comparison. I think that might be fair. I don't remember Chile as much when he was a freshman and being forced into this role because so much. I mean, think a year ago, man. A year ago, right about now, next month, somewhere in there, Lobo fans, they were split. And I know where I was, and I think I know where you were on Byron Matos playing. Remember, he got here early. It was pre his freshman year. He burned his freshman year, and in retrospect, he could have played both and still be a freshman. With the clock, but and somehow he was going to put you over the top and make a difference last year. Remember when Carlton Bragg was out and Matos was just going to step in and take Carlton Bragg's role because you saw him, and to Jay's point, because he looks great coming down the ramp, and he does. And announcers marvel over him, but he's got to develop. I hadn't thought of Shili Napalway in that sort of a reference. All right, if you want to get in, you can. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Let me get you a couple emails on Lobo basketball. I've got a bunch of them already. This is on Hunter Green again. I think it's the same concept, but Mike says, is Hunter the most frustrated color guy in America? It sounds like it's taken all his restraint not to leave the broadcast booth and get on the field in his old uniform to carry this club on offense. Everybody's frustrated. Look, again, this is what I was talking about yesterday. Everybody's frustrated. Everybody around that club. I mean, you're just sitting on those post-game press conferences afterwards. This is where I tell people, the people who tell me, oh, you guys want them to lose so you have something to talk about. Do you know how much more fun it is to cover a team that wins as opposed to a team that loses all the time? I mean, you do, JJ. Right? It's so much more fun to go to a press conference and talk to coaches and be at an event. Dude, those media rooms and now these virtual media rooms after games are like morgues. Everybody's staring at their phone. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like they're doing something, and it's not fun. So I think everybody around the program is feeling that way. Omar says when Steve Alford and Neil really had things going, Jeff, they milked the same core of guys forever. Kendall Williams, Kirk, Cam, Greenwood. Halfway into this season, I still need a program to tell me who most of the current squad is. All right, that's in some respect on you, but what he's telling you is there. It was going to take time. This is what Paul's saying. They're all new, and so that's what I'm hearing there. They're new. It's going to take time, and somebody's got to step up. And I'm struggling a little bit, at least until last night, because I hadn't seen much progress.
And you're right. There's at some point you got to. Well, how young are they going to be? Well, the fact is, it's not just one or two guys you're incorporating into the lineup. It's the majority of the roster. And been here, done that in terms of why the roster is this way. They were, if all things went well, maybe you return 2 core players, which has you in a different position in J.J. Caldwell and Vance Jackson. But obviously, we know how that went down.
A hugely different position with those two.
Yeah. And so other than that, there was going to be a lot of roster turnover, regardless of if you agree with it or not, because you had to get younger at some point in time. It's just you found yourself in a position where not only do you have a bunch of freshmen on this team, a couple sophomores that didn't get a chance to play a lot. It's first-year D1 guys and Valdarren Singleton. And you see, okay, maybe there's something here. But unfortunately, it's like 90% of the roster is trying to figure out how to play D1 basketball, and this is what it looks like.
So I'm going to bring up something, and you've heard me over the years we've been doing this, harp on this in college basketball. And to me, that's the importance of a point guard. And I'll go back to Alford's first year. His first recruit was Doris Carey. He had a 4-year starter at point guard. He had success. He had a steady floor general point guard. And then Hugh Greenwood came in. And while he didn't always start at point guard, especially in his senior year, he was a 4-year starter at point guard. And so you had an 8-year run, basically where you had real consistency at point guard. And you've gone between the Antono Jackson, Keith McGee, go through your litany over the last 4 years. I mean, to me, it feels like Lobo quarterbacks. name the point guards over the last 4 years. And Paul alluded to it last night. He said it's the first time in his career where he really has struggled with point guard play. Now, I would tell you it's been inconsistent. You had J.J. Caldwell last year, and then why am I forgetting Zero? Why am I forgetting Help me last year? Played point guard towards the back end of the year, for crying out loud. Became the point guard towards the back end of the year, transferred again. Damn it. Anyway, you got consistent play. The point guard play is really struggling. And to me, that's the quarterback, that's the flow of your offense. And Paul alluded to it last night. We could talk about going through the post all you want until they get some solid point guard play. And you're not wrong now. How do you play point guard when nobody's making a shot? How do you feel good about yourself? And so what came first, the chicken or the egg? But I've harped for years, and I firmly believe in college basketball, a good point guard really solidifies a program and certainly a team.
Of course, there was a lot of expectations on Jeremiah Francis. And then Saquon Singleton, I think we see is better with the basketball in his hands. And so I think last night was a step forward in that direction. And then now it's on Paul to figure out, all right, well, Singleton, Francis, Barron, because obviously they didn't want to get the freshmen some run and figure out something development-wise. You saw more Javante Johnson early in the contest as an off-ball guard, because that's him. He's a shooting guard. Something. And who's going to pop? The opportunity is there, man. 3 guys have a chance to take control of this point guard position.
Yeah, and he's given them all an opportunity now. Is Singleton a point guard or a scoring guard? Where should he be? By the way, I'm looking at last year. Go ahead. Where do you think
Zane Martin?
Thank you, Zane Martin. For crying out loud! It's driving me
I think
nuts.
Singleton's best with the ball in his hands, because who else is getting downhill and at least creating or scoring inside?
All right, well, I'll give you that. I would have liked to see him play more. But I think, the point guard position, to your point, and Grammer's made a point of this, that what was 1 for 31 before the starting point guard before last night. Look, you got a lot of holes. Somebody's got to score. The big's got to develop. You need a point guard. Last night they played better defensively. I'll give them that. Because before that I thought they were playing horribly defensively. You got a lot of holes. But I know when I coached, and certainly at a lower level, when I played, you had a point guard, at least you had a chance, right? You had somebody out there controlling what was going on. And I think, the fact that he's starting different guys all the time tells you he didn't have a point guard. Is that like a quarterback? Well, if you got two quarterbacks, you don't have any.
Yeah, they don't have a point guard, and Paul hit on it last night. He acknowledged they're not as good as offensively as they had hoped, and it's going to be an issue. And I don't even think a point guard changes that right now.
No, it doesn't. Look, I'm not telling you the point guard changes. I think it's got to start there. It's got to start there and somebody making shots. Somebody's got to make shots. Quach came off the bench and made a few shots. Is he the answer? I don't know. Is he that good, or did he just hit a couple shots? Manuel hit a couple of the shots last night. So somebody's got to come up. Like, don't you want to see someone just go nuts one night? Don't you want to sit here one day and say, God, he had 27? Like, I would be going nuts on this team, right? And somebody just – has anybody on this team had a 20-point game all year? And honestly, with all due respect –
might have.
Litorno and Our Lady of the Lake doesn't count.
It doesn't – yeah, I agree with that.
Like, honestly, has anybody had a 20-point game this year? They're scoring in the 40s every night.
Division I opponents.
Against a Division I opponent. I don't think so. Somebody's got to just take over a game, and to me that would be some of the progress. 505-246-0610 is the opening drive. A 95.9 FM and AM 610 the Sports Animal.
If you're hiring, you need Indeed. Indeed delivers quality candidates so you can focus on interviewing people with the
Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalon's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalon wants to put it down. Here comes Screechers. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition. It's 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan. That ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Forward dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wrap around pass.
Harris, Legate, the long bomb, 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
A little jump step in the... And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. Taylor Bond back. LAU. Put it down. Dunkalicious. How about it?
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
Here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And hot it. Sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. BC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh.
Couple NBA scores of note yesterday. The new look Nets 125-123 over the Milwaukee Bucks. You're shaking your head. That didn't happen, or
Milwaukee can't lose that game.
Yeah.
You have game 2 with James Harden and Kevin Durant and a roster still of like, wait, who are these other role players? And you lose that game, you need to be the bully on the block right now. Milwaukee should win that game. Like, yeah, it's just an early regular season game, but it's going to continue to highlight the questions of can that team get it done? Milwaukee was full strength. It was Giannis. It was Middleton. It was Jrue Holiday. And he got beat by Harden in game 2. You can't lose that game because I'm not picking the Bucks to win anything.
No, why would you? Why would you? They'll get to the playoffs and they'll be a top 2 or 3 seed. But why would you? And then Giannis will leave. Lakers blew a 13-point lead to go into the fourth quarter. They lost at home to the Warriors. 115-113. Golden State outscored LA 34-21 fourth quarter. You don't feel the same way because the Lakers have proven they can win something. They took their foot off the brake. They got beat at home in a January Monday night game.
They put their foot on the brake in that fourth quarter. They're like,
yeah, what I say, took it off? Yeah, they put it on the brake. Yeah. I just
play as hard. LeBron James passing up a shot to tie the game in the fourth quarter, under 10 seconds to go. Classic LeBron, not rising to the occasion.
Yeah, you think he might be there when it comes, May and June. He might be. All right, 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah produces for you on the radio side, and Alden now flying solo on the TV side on ProView. Zane Martin, says Frank. Didn't you already tell me Zane Martin? I don't know why. Sometimes you just forget, and it wasn't that long ago. All right, Frank. Well, give me a list of all the Lobo point guards in the last 4 years, and what's a bigger list? Lobo point guards in the last 4 years, or Lobo quarterbacks in the last 4 years? Ooh.
It's gonna be close. Let's put it together. Get to work. Someone else.
Yeah, Frank's on it. I know he is. All right. Reply to Jay. This is from Gopher. Jay was the caller who just called in. Talking about Byron Matos looks great coming off the bus. Gopher says, the problem with Matos looking great in shorts and T-shirt, he was supposed to lead Lobo basketball the conference championship title last year with no practice on his way to one and done. Yeah, I know, I get it. This is why I've told you over the years, and it might even be falling short. I don't get excited about these guys until I see them come down the pit ramp in a pair of shorts. And now it's got to be even more than that. All right, he's in a pair of shorts. He looks great.
Check into the basketball game.
How many Lobos over the years? And I've been doing it a little longer than you. But even in your, like, is this guy going to be the savior? And he comes in with all these stars, or he comes from this school, or he's recruited, and he's going to turn this team, and they're going to the Sweet 16. By the way, if they ever get to the Sweet 16, they're not going because you're going to have a damn parade. They're not even going to get there. But I just easy, right? Easy.
Well,
all these guys came in same way.
It's the challenge because you want to hype up your recruits. Mm-hmm. You want to show kids like, hey, it matters when you come to this school. People on social media have your back. Like the fans buy into that. Yeah, until they don't. And so it's living in that world, but then also having to acknowledge like nothing is given. Yeah, because you might be hyped on social media, be excited. Look, Javonte Johnson, he scored 30 points in high school the other night. It's a different world. It's a reality check. And Paul kind of talked about that the other day as well. I think you come in with a lot of hype, but it's hard, and you got to hit the grindstone. And these true freshmen getting a dose of reality. Yeah, it's nice when everyone is hitting you up on social media, hashtag Go Lobos, can't wait to see you, we got your back, until you're 0-8. And then who are these players? Why did you recruit them?
Jeremiah Francis played 13 games at North Carolina last year. He's going to rip this league up. He had 2 air balls and 1 possession last night. 4 points. Dan says, I think Lobo basketball is going to beat Juan Jose State. Jeffrey and Micah John. A lot of frustrations are going to be released this week when Lobo basketball blues Juan Jose State out of St. George's built. Okay, maybe. I think for a lot of Lobo fans, I hope so, man. I think you need this. I don't know where one win over San Jose State's going to go. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think you're going to get a win over San Jose State this week. I don't know if it's going to be Thursday or if it's going to be Saturday. And I think it's going to be by about 5 to 7 points. I don't know if it's going to come in the first game or the second game, and I'm wondering how you're going to feel about that. If they split with San Jose State, come out of there 1-9, get a win on the second night, because if they lose Thursday, Friday morning's going to be rough. I'm just telling you. They lose Thursday at Dixie to San Jose State. Friday morning's going to be tough here. You think I'm wrong?
No, I'm just getting a chuckle that's even a sentence. If you lose at Dixie on Thursday to San Jose State, Friday is going to be rough.
In the afternoon. Well, I mean,
yes.
It might be a surreal statement, but it's constructed accurately, is it not?
It is.
1 minute.
It's where we are, man. It's where we are. We got a bunch more emails on Lobo basketball. We'll get through them. Promise. I promise. We got some football to get through. Patrick Mahomes' mom weighed in. It is never good. The only time it's good when your mom weighs in is if she's doing soup commercials with you. Is there another time? If you're a pro athlete, is there another time that it's good when your mom weighs in?
Mom's always got your back.
She's always got your back. It never plays well on social media, but mom's always got your back. Robert Griffin III doesn't have a job. Talk about that. We'll get into this Mets thing with Jared Porter. I mean, just don't send women pictures of yourself in that manner. So, I mean, is like that. Shouldn't that be in the handbook of being a human? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 The Sports Animal.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's a long 3.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go.
Ford driving kick. 3's in the air. It's good. Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Cropper.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalan wants to put it down. But here comes Las Cruces. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition, 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Oh, Morgan.
All right, I know this should be commonsensical. I know that as a human being, this probably should have been taught to you some point along the way. Maybe a bunch of you do this. I don't know. Maybe this is, and obviously it's got to be much more of a common thing than I'm aware. And all right, fine, I'm an old man. I don't even care at this point. Brett Favre did it, allegedly. Do not send pictures of your junk via text to women, especially women who don't want to see it. I mean, is that women? I don't know if you're trying to impress women. Alden was just telling me, man, that doesn't work. Chicks don't like that anyway. Only dudes like that. It will get you fired. What's up, y'all? Send your resumes now. There's a job opening with the Mets. They're looking for a
Mets general manager.
Goodness gracious. So it's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Josh now flying solo, it looks like, with an empty chair over at ProView. JJ, Mike Porter. Jared Porter got a great job. Worked his way up through baseball. Worked with the Diamondbacks and the Cubs, and now got a job as the general manager of the New York Mets. New ownership, new direction, good people. We're going to bring in good people. We're going to do things the right way. We're going to bring in, right? It's a pretty big job. I mean, there's 32 of these jobs in the world. General manager of a Major League Baseball club. You're going to be the architect. You're going to bring them back. They just made a big deal. Came out yesterday that back in 2016, I don't even know if it's allegedly anymore. I mean, is it alleged? He met a woman, a foreign reporter covering baseball. Met her in the elevator at Yankee Stadium and started sending her text messages, and obviously was wearing her out. She wasn't interested. He asking her to meet him in different cities around Major League Baseball. And she stopped responding. She ghosted him for a while. And somehow he thought by sending a picture of his package was going to get her back in the game. She finally responded, stopped sending this. This is inappropriate. I guess he apologized. Now, JJ, she's out of baseball, and ESPN got the text string, all those messages, went public with it, and he's out. How do you get to that? I don't even know how you get to that point. And I don't want to belabor this because to me there's not even really two sides of this. But is this just I got a bunch of money and I'm arrogant, I'm ridiculous, I'm so full of myself that she's gonna dig me? That I mean, how do you? I'm not asking. I don't know why I'm asking you. Like you're supposed to tell me how to explain this. But I mean, how to destroy a career in 60 seconds?
Thinking of using your influential position to influence someone else, taking it too far, thinking like you're invincible. Look at me, I'm the dude that's a director of like baseball operations,
whatever
scouting, not even general manager at that point in time. This dumb foreign reporter, I'm gonna show her, I'm gonna be her way into the game. Nope, it's way out of the game. You're acting an idiot. It's foolish. There's no way to spin it. And when you read the full story, because I know a lot of people are coming out going, oh, why is this coming out now? Maybe because women are not treated humanely in every part of this world, and a foreign reporter could have been blamed for something in her country, within her organization, as opposed to the way it would have been handled here. So when you read the full story, the outcome of it, the timeline does track why this ultimately came out now. And guess what? You did it. No ifs, ands, or buts. You did that. You make that mistake, and you're no longer a general manager.
So, and the version I read, I didn't catch. Well, it wasn't there. The version I read, it's not because I didn't catch it. Just wasn't there. So what you were telling me is the country from where she hails, women are always accused of this. It's always the woman's fault, and so that is why she did not come forward whilst she was a reporter. It would have been her fault. It would have cost her her job. That's what she was thinking, right? And now that she's no longer in that position, she's not in baseball anymore, she felt comfortable. And I'm sure this has been on her mind for a long time. I wonder how much of it, do you think he thought, and we'll never know, maybe we will, I don't know, when he sits down with Barbara Walters or Oprah. Who's the new Barbara Walters?
This guy's not going to sit down with anyone. He's going to fade into the abyss. Who knew who this guy was before this morning?
I didn't. I honestly didn't. I had no idea. I keep having to look at his first name, Jared Porter. I mean, imagine that sitting in the back of your head, waiting for that bomb to drop. You know you screwed up so bad that it's going to cost you your career. And when is that bomb going to drop? Like you did it to yourself. I'm not feeling bad for you. Please, 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 please don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But you screw up so bad. You're such an a-hole. You are such an arrogant, yes, that you did this and you apologized profusely, evidently, because you knew you took it too far. And this is career ending, and all she's got to do is just go to the right people, and she finally did. Like, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's a weight off his shoulders, but he didn't have a job anymore. But I just don't. Like, what? Brett Favre did it, right? And somehow Brett Favre survived. He's still doing tractor commercials and Wrangler commercials, and he's still out there selling me stuff. And supposedly he did it to a reporter as well, right? And somehow, I guess when you're Brett Favre, you can get away with it. I don't even know how Brett Favre survived that.
Lance on the line.
No.
Yeah, I don't have that answer for you, and why that continued. It's because he could throw a football still, and he was
Isn't
still
that kind of
playing.
crazy though? He was still playing. He was with the Jets, right? He went on to play with the Vikings after that. Like, he was with the Jets. Something about New York, I guess. I guess he was with, this guy was with Chicago. But he was with the Jets, and it was Jen. I can remember Zane Martin's name. Why do you expect me to remember Jen something's name? The reporter at the time. And supposedly, allegedly, and they all say no, it wasn't. That wasn't me. I found a stock photo. That's the other thing. When he sent a picture of his junk, now he's telling it. Well, that wasn't me. It was just a joke. It was one of those stock junk photos I found on the internet. It was just a joke. You idiot. You idiot. Like, if someone wants to come in, you can mask your voice, give me a fake name. Honestly, for the life of me, I don't know how you get to that point, and I'm curious. Like, I'm curious to the whole, I don't want to understand it necessarily, but I kind of do. Like, how do you get there? How do you weave your mind through this? And so she ghosted me, so I'm going to send her a picture of my stuff.
That is not the key to unlock the conversation.
I just, if you've been there, that's right, Matt. Change your name, dude. That's okay. I'm just curious. You can come in under an auspice name and call yourself Herbie or Cyril or Mike or Micah. Or
Spin on why people think this is a good idea.
I'm kind of curious how the hell you get there. Like, I'm trying to understand the human mind.
I think you know how you get there. You're a dude
I
that's
don't.
like, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. My life is an adult movie. This is gonna work.
Yeah. I just, honestly, I don't. All right. So then you have that. So the Mets are, if you're a baseball guy, maybe John Traub can get that job. There's a job open in New York. The Mets are looking for a new job.
Well, it depends on who you talk to, because I don't know if John's done a great job roster-wise with the Isotopes lately.
Oh, that's right. Sid would say hell no. That's right. Sid and Gene.
Kidding, John, if you happen to be listening.
Oh, Sid and Gene would be pissed. When was the last time they won anything? Puts together a crappy team. Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking yesterday, for some reason, about this. I don't even know why, but it was yesterday. Like the difference between passion for United and Isotopes. And I think it's because United can't put together their roster, right? Because they're responsible for winning. And it kind of goes back to the difference. The Scorpions were the same way. Scorpions, their base was that same level of passion, because you can maintain a guy for, like Devin Sandoval's now going on 3 years, right? Cody Mizell will be here for 3 years. You don't really have a guy. If a guy is here for 3 years, Jason Wood, right, it's because he can't get up to the big leagues, right? And I guess there's some aspect to that, but if he's going to play at this level, if he's going to play, below the big league level, you got an opportunity to keep a guy around here. Like, how many years, the late Derek Crawford, God bless him, was here. Travis Van Tighem was here. Tony Martino was the goaltender for how long? Tyler Boucher was here for how long? Like, you still remember these Scorpion guys, right? Who were great. In fact, JJ, I didn't even tell you this. I got a text from Travis Van Tighem like about a month and a half ago, right after, I think it was right after Nick LeBeau died, and I talked to Pat Dunn. Remember Pat Dunn, the former player, general manager? And Dunner must have talked to Travis and told him I called him, and it just out of the blue. But bottom line is, it just kind of clicked yesterday. That's why there's a different passion. You care if they won. You care if they win because you get to know these guys. They stick around. And Isotopes, you probably, the roster changes. Honestly, they have 160-something roster moves a year, and you don't know who they are. And I'm going to swing it all the way back to Lobo basketball with you, with what this guy just said on the email. You got a core of United players. Scorpions, same way. You had that core that you loved them, and whether you were winning every year, you knew these guys. They were in the community. You had their jerseys. They were fighting. You loved them, and like you could get a Travis Van Tighem jersey, and he was the captain, and he was around for 5 years. You could wear the Tony Martino jersey, the sweater that they used to sell. Same with the Isotopes. You can't do that. Or same with United. You can't do that with the Isotopes. And Lobo basketball.
I think there's an element to that, but it's also the understanding of everyone knows the role of minor league baseball. Mm-hmm. It's like, yes, the Isotopes want to be competitive. They want fans to enjoy wins, but you also have a parent club that is picking and choosing who they want to come up through the ranks.
Understood.
Yeah, so I think it's because I think if you lose a bunch of games, it doesn't matter if a dude's here 4 years. No one's going to care. Like, you still got to have the success regardless if the guy's here 3 or 4 years. Because guess what? Malawach is here. 0-8. No one's crazy excited about McQuatch.
Yeah, people kind of like him a lot. I think he's the one guy that people identify with on that team. You're right. You got to win. And I think the Scorpions had success, and obviously United has had success. And I think everybody understands that about Isotopes. But I just think that's why there's not that same level of passion in striving to win year after year. I mean, and I think United does a great job of overhyping every single signing, and they do a good job of spacing them out and going against, if there's a bowl game that day, we're going to take it, and we're going to announce that there's a signing, and if there's, we're going to do another one on this day and that day, and so I think they do a great job of that. But I think there's a connection, a recognition when there's a little bit of stability within an organization. And the face of the Isotopes is John Traub, right? And not that there's anything wrong. That's the model. But it just kind of clicked, ding. And I guess I knew that before. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Your emails come in this morning, Jeff@610knml.com. JJ@610knml.com. I got a bunch of emails that we got to get to. We can get we'll get more into Lobo basketball as we go through. We got the NFL stuff. We got to talk about Patrick Mahomes' mom. The Tennessee athletic director job is open, as is their football coach's job. Does that mean something to you? It might. I'll get to that coming up next. Hey, security for your home or business. You need it. It's the day and age in which we live. It's the place in which we live. I know security is like insurance. You know you need it too. You just don't want to pay for it sometimes. Then a bad guy breaks in. You realize you should have been prepared. Don't wait till something bad happens to you. Call IPS. IPS has watched my home for years, and they come by at different times. Yesterday afternoon, Addie was going out for a run. I had some guys here, and there's IPS, and he's kind of watching these guys come in and out of my house, right? And I went out to the curb. He's like, getting a little work done? Totally true story. Yep. Nope. These guys are good. Okay. But there they were checking out. Just happened to be there when guys were coming in and out of the house. But it's a sense of security. I've had them protect my home for years. I suggest you give them a call. There's no contracts. What Aaron and his highly trained officers do is keep the bad guys away and catch bad guys. They stop crime before it happens. Let IPS protect your business or your home with on-site guards or 24-hour patrols, and stop crime before it happens. Give yourself peace of mind. Call them at 505-897-2420. It's 505-897-2420, or you can visit them at ipsglobal.com.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle's got some room. 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat. 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a
Option again. He'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline. Still inbounds into the end zone. Let's see.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. Portell.
The outside of running an out route.
Davis in the play action, looking. He's going to go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown. Back to tossing. He's got all day. Makes one miss, and he's rolling. He's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
Hey, we told you he
touchdown.
Could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the wind in his back, but
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
To create space, he gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it.
Coming in soon. Double kick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a
around the screen against White. Step back, it's blocked. JB with the block.
Hey! Does that mean the Scorpions are back? Go! Good days, man.
Light the web.
That's hockey. Dennis Glasgow, the original voice of the Scorpions. He used to do the morning show here on the Sports Animal, and he was the original voice of the Scorpions. That was his call. That's hockey. And then Tom Sy, the radio guy, came in. Tom was a terrific play-by-play guy. I shared the booth with him a few times. I sat in a few times. I called some hockey back in the day, JJ.
I haven't done a hockey game yet.
It's hard. It's fast. It's crazy. Like basketball, you think is fast, and then you call hockey, and you're like, oh, what a different world. Of everything like that's happened over, I can't believe I've been here coming up on a quarter of a century, covering sports in this market. I miss the Scorpions more than anything. Like I miss the Lobos being good in basketball. Like honestly, I miss like those pit games, with Majerus and Billy Tubbs, and back in those days, both those gentlemen have since passed. But I miss Scorpions hockey. I was at their first game, and when I first got here back in '96, and I like Josh was saying, man, he misses it. You were talking about the last couple of years when they moved out to Rio Rancho, some of those rivalries. That was it was a different fan base. And I think it was very, very United-esque, don't you?
Yeah, the passion, investment in the outcome, fun stuff, man. I'm a huge hockey fan. It's up there on the list. Anytime someone says, "What's your favorite sport?" I'm like, well, just depends on the time of day and what season it's in.
No doubt.
Love the game, miss it dearly. It'll be fun to see how the Ice Wolves, those junior players move going forward. Just seeing young players, the development, what they're able to do once things open up as well, because they've been kind of unfortunately out of sight, out of mind, like everyone else, having to live life on the road.
All right, Mike, I forgot you tell me that every line is full, so let's go to him. Jerome, get us started. You're up on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Hello, Jerome.
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, I know I'm going to be preaching to the choir on a lot of this stuff, but, man, I can't tell you how totally frustrated I am, with New Mexico State Aggie basketball and not being able to play games, and it just drives me crazy. We could be in Las Cruces, walking from the dorm to the gym, to the dorm to the gym, and being in a bubble that way instead of, I don't know. And I could hear Coach Jan's frustration in his press conference yesterday, and trust me, I'm just as frustrated. I think all Aggie fans are just as frustrated. We're in Arizona getting COVID, and we could be in New Mexico and I'm staying safer, and it kind of just doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't know. This whole thing is kind of driving me crazy. But hey, you know what? You gotta be an optimist and look at the glass half full and say we are gonna get games in, and actually we picked up a basketball player too that signed that's gonna be on board. And from watching his highlights, he's gonna be a good one. But it would sure be nice to see the Aggies on the basketball court. I even watched a little bit of the Lobos, maybe for like 5 minutes yesterday, just to kind of watch a little bit of basketball. But man, it's just kind of driving me crazy. And as an Aggie fan, I know a lot of them, and we're just like going like shaking our head at all of this stuff. So, but one good thing, one bright spot, I get to have basketball practice today with my girls at Sandia Prep, and man, I am stoked. I have just, I don't know, it's just been really frustrating. But what the bright side is, we get to start practice again today, or not practice. I shouldn't call it practice. We have workouts. Where it's 4-to-1, 4 girls to 1 coach, and all kinds of craziness stuff. But whatever keeps the players safe is a good thing, and that's the bottom line. So anyway, that's my take on stuff. And I don't know, guys, what's your take?
Well, Jerome, appreciate it. You are preaching to the choir. I mean, that's our take. Did you see Jan's press conference yesterday? I had a text conversation with him afterwards just to check in on him. He is beyond frustrated, and for the first time was like reporters are asking, well, how do you think they're getting? He's like, I don't know, I'm not a damn doctor. Like, I got my theories, but they're living in a hotel, which, by the way, isn't consolidated to just them. There's other people living there. It's a resort, and it's beyond frustrating. Yeah, you're preaching the choir. Art, you're up next. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jim.
No, I just say it concur. It's a situation that are they actually safer in some of these other environments? Like, it's not. The thing with like Lobo football, when you look at their totality, the space they had, the accommodations that they had versus some of what all the other basketball teams are going through, it's showing you that there are absolutely different challenges, associated with the situation, and it's not perfect.
All right. Art, good morning.
Buenos dias, amigos.
Greetings.
Yeah, I just had a comment. Oh, Chihuahua. I know McCullough is trying, but I think he should just kind of stick to what his game is. He's trying too hard. And literally, I just think that, we've had a couple of years of seeing what the menu has brought us with Mr. Weir. And I understand he has a whole new roster. Everybody goes through changes, but I just don't think he's the right coach for UNM right now. I think UNM really needs to maybe think about the Danny Gonzalez team like they did with the football, but number one, see if Michael Cooper got his degree. Number two, get some of these guys that have been in the system, knows what it is to be a Lobo for men's basketball, and somebody can actually reach his population because, I hate to say it, I don't see these guys even competing against Air Force. I know I'm being pretty hard on them, but I'm just speaking the truth. I got to get to work, brother. I'll listen in a little bit. Let me know what you think. Bye-bye.
All right, Art. Thank you. Yeah, I think they compete with Air Force, and they'll compete with San Jose State. I'm not telling you they're going to win all those games, but they'll compete with them, right?
Should. If you saw, evidence last night at least, getting something done defensively, making it tough on the opponent, it's something that you should be able to do, but nothing is a given for this basketball team.
Michael, where do you want me to go? You want me to hit the break, or you want me to take one more? All right, Rudy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Rudy.
Good morning. Well, close but no cigar, but I think what you're seeing is a team that's actually being constructed, during the season and what should have been the off season. That's the bottom line. Come on, guys. You know that, and I know that. Trying to find guys to plug into certain spots just doesn't happen, and you can't do it in the middle of a game, and you can't do it when you're essentially starting all over. I mean, think about what this program's been through. The only coach that I think's there from last year is Paul Weir.
No, he's got one assistant. He's got.
I think Coach Davis came in late last year, maybe. I don't know, but this is, for all intents and purposes, a brand new coaching staff. For all intents and purposes, brand new players. And yeah, Makach Malwatch tries to do too much, but at least he's trying. And so the first time last night, I saw hope because I saw the team try on defense. And they made it tough on UNLV. And, you got to give credit to Hamilton. He made those shots. Those were all contested, difficult shots. Oh,
Dan McHale's there. Yeah, I think McHale's the only assistant, though, that is there, right? Padgett, Davis. Davis was a video coordinator. Filipovich is new. So Dan McHale's the one guy.
All those guys are learning to work with brand new players. And they'll figure this out, but I just wish that they had the 7 months between the end of last season and the start of this season to do that here in New Mexico on their own floor. And even Doug Gottlieb, the guy was incredulous, wasn't he? I don't know if you got to listen to the on-air broadcast over Fox Sports, but he was just incredulous. He said, how can you expect somebody to win a game when you don't have a home game? That's where you go home, lick your wounds, get better, get them in your place, and get a win, isn't it?
I hope so.
Well, that's how it's worked for the 55 years of Lobo basketball since the pit was built. This is where we win. We don't even get to play, even in an empty. I mean, the whole thing is just so ludicrous and so wrong. And the voices are getting stronger, and the munchkins are coming out of their hidey holes. And eventually this governor's going to find out one thing, that messing with Aggie and Lobo basketball, Jerome sounds like me. I sound like Jerome. When did you ever hear that? Aggies and Lobos agreeing?
Yep.
Maybe that's another sign of the apocalypse, but I don't think so. I think it's a sign of people who care about their sports programs and their basketball teams, seeing them being destroyed by their own government that's supposed to be supporting them. That's a new one. So
Yeah,
until we get over that, you know, it is what it is. But I appreciate the fight in the team, and they're going to get some wins. And it is what it is. And if you're a fan, yeah, you know, I stuck with the Lobo football program for a while too. So I'm sticking with basketball. So guys, go out there and get it done. Appreciate the time, Jeff, JJ. Everybody stay safe.
Be well. All right, Rudy called at 505-246-0610. Now I know I got to take this break. We'll get back to it. More from you when we get back. Lobo basketball last night, 53-46. They get beat in Vegas. How'd you feel about that one? Progress or just another loss? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good. What a three that is by Jalen.
Hidon puts it up.
Rebound, Cowboys. Right side, David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Another steal by Domina Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. The lob tagged by Osi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Parham.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what he'll
just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Lewis uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Kristen Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Could have said that any better. He answered the question.
On
Got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer.
There's some old Scorpion stuff. I got an old. I'll wear it maybe tomorrow, JJ, for the show. I got an old Scorpions, the jersey, the yellow ones, the alternate that said Scorpions across. Got my name on the back. Maybe I'll put that on one day. I wonder why it's still hanging in my closet, so I might as well utilize it. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. Micah is produced on the radio side, and it's who we got? Alden flying solo now over on the TV side. You can watch the show on ProViewNetworks.com or on our Facebook page, The OD in the AM. All right, last night, JJ, 53-46. UNLV beat New Mexico, 8 straight losses for Lobos to open up conference play. The ladies are off this week, so the men will be in St. George, Utah, playing San Jose State on Thursday and Saturday. And then after that, we don't know, right? Are they coming home? Are they going to stay there and get ready to go to San Diego? They going to what happens next? The women, because San Jose State has opted out of the rest of the season, do not have anybody to play. So are the women back in Albuquerque now? And if so, are they allowed to practice in groups of 5 or what?
Well, if they're back, it is, of course, small pod workouts.
Don't tell anyone, yeah.
Team stuff is not going on. I think at least the sense that I got from Bradbury is they will take a couple days to recharge wherever that may be. They're not actively looking to fill the schedule because that's not something that I think they have the ability to do. So they'll just wait on their next Mountain West series.
Well, they could probably play UTRGV because the Aggies, men and women, have had their series against UTRGV canceled or at least postponed, because both New Mexico State programs are on pause because of COVID. Jans yesterday in his press conference was so frustrated. He told me, I've been through worse, and I know he has. But just trying to figure out this virus and trying to figure out how to do it and what the right way is. They thought they're doing it the right way by going to this resort, and it's not like when Lobo football was at that resort in Lake Las Vegas. For the most part, they had run of the place. This is an open for business public resort that people are coming in and out of, and so how are they getting it? I don't know. Did they touch a door handle? Lord knows. If you got it figured out, you let me know or call Dr. Fauci, for crying out loud, better than me. But you could see the frustration in Jans yesterday. He was, I felt for Chris because he's sitting there answering questions. He wants to be talking about his basketball team going to play UTRGV coming off a Dixie State series, and he's just talking about another week of being paused. And by the way, when they ever have to go back at it, good luck, man. Right? I mean,
the frustration because there's no answers to it. Like, he doesn't know how you can be taking all the precautions and just accidentally get too close to someone in the hallway or touch the wrong thing. That's what could happen in this scenario with New Mexico State.
All right, back to it. Marty, you're on the Quan's Auto Care hotline. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. I've been pondering this all morning long, this COVID thing. Let me ask you a question. Are you going to register to take the vaccine?
You asking me, JJ? I mean, I am registered, yes.
Okay. So let's say I'm a healthcare worker out there in the medical field somewhere, working at a hospital. It would be advantageous and wise and smart for me to take the vaccine, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, so that way I have an immunity towards it. So I've already taken flu shot, the pneumonia shot, so preventative medicine is good. So let's say the Lobo basketball team, the women's basketball team, came into town this week and all got vaccinated. Now, according to the governor, that should be science, okay?
Well,
a win-win situation you should be able to play in the pit. You got the vaccine. You're not messing around with quarantine, hiding over here in Utah, hiding over there in Lubbock. So isn't that an automatic way to start back in the pit?
Yeah,
but
a couple
I
things.
find it very clever that she found a way to utilize the pit to open it up so people can come and get vaccinated
And they can't come home
to
and play.
keep the Lobos away from the pit so they can never come back. But if they get vaccinated, why should you be penalized, ostracized when you've taken?
Okay.
And how many athletes do we know of in that age group have died from COVID?
That's not the point.
I can't think of one.
Yeah, death of the athlete isn't the point. Now, Marty, appreciate the call. So I got a couple points on there. First of all, they're not up yet. That would be another conversation. We can have it if you want. Should the Lobos jump the line? Should they be able to go and get vaccinated? You're not supposedly completely affected by the vaccine until after your second shot, which would be 3 weeks later, correct? So you get your first first dose, the 3 weeks later you get your second, and then supposedly it works at 90-something%. And so I don't know that I feel, and I think most people do not feel that college athletes should jump the line and go in front of the elderly, the healthcare workers, the people with pre-existing conditions. Do you feel that way?
No.
Yeah.
I don't
you feel
anyone should be jumping the line ahead of those people.
Yeah. And so, like in theory, Marty, it makes sense, but I understand why that's not happening. Now, if for some reason there was enough vaccine and they could get there, then we could. I think that's a valid conversation. Personally, and he asked, for me, and I said this on TJ's show the other day. For me personally, I understand where people are with the vaccine and their trepidation. I would like it because if it's like the mask thing, if it's going to allow me to go do things and live my life, like sign me up. Like I want it today. I want it in 3 weeks from today, the second dose. If it's going to allow me to go start doing things and like that, that's where I am. I understand the people who's it's not proven. Okay, then that's your call, man. We're all grown ass adults. That's where I am. So, but yeah, I'm not sure. I feel that the student athlete should jump the line. In theory, I'm all about that. In theory, makes total sense to me. But in reality, with all due respect to Lobo athletes playing basketball in the state, I'd rather your 83-year-old mother or your grandparent get that vaccination first, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And that's where I am. All right. Lobo Hobo's in on Stig Quan Singleton, as he calls him. He says, Jeff, the kind of player you're talking about is not a point guard. It's a shooting guard, which is what Singleton was until last night, and that wasn't working either. Look, they're scoring point guards. That's why I asked you. I don't know if I think Singleton's more of a point guard or an off guard. Like you said, you want him with the ball in the hand. To me, he was the most confident-looking offensive player in the half-court set that I've seen in a Lobo game conference play in a long time. I want him there. I want the ball in his hand. And I, like I told you, when they came out in the second half, I was really, really surprised that he wasn't more involved. Paul said he was fatigued. Okay, if that's it, that's it. But I was sitting there thinking, why is he not more involved when I watched that guy, by far the most competent half of offensive basketball I've seen from a Lobo in a long time. And by the way, I asked earlier, and you looked this up, if any Lobo had scored 20 points this year and against a Division I team, and Malwatch did 23 in their first game against Rice.
Yes, so he set the tone early of everyone going, oh, Malwatch is going to be this guy this season, 20 points per game, leading the way. Malwatch absolutely is pressing him a bit. I think he can play better than we have seen him play, but it's also trying to figure out what works within this roster, as nothing has been working. So if you want to call Saquon Singleton a shooting guard or a point guard or whatever your definition of a point guard in your mind is, all I know is I want the ball in his hands right now to try to create something, anything for this Lobo basketball team.
Yeah. By the way, on Marty's point, one thing I let slip, using the pit for the vaccine distribution center was UNM's idea. That wasn't the governor's idea. That was UNM's idea. You're watching Dodger Stadium be used. You're watching arenas around. It makes sense to use it as a vaccination center. And by the way, like let's say there was a game on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. You could probably still play that game. You're not having any fans in there anyway, so you could probably still play that game if you really wanted to, if you were allowed to. I guess you could play in the Davalos Center for all that matters, right? I mean, honestly. So 505-246-0610. I'll get you a bunch more emails when we get back. Keep them coming. Get into the NBA last night as well. Warriors beat the Lakers in L.A. 115-113. The Nets, James Harden, beat the Bucks 125-23, so that's on the table for you as well. On the opening drive at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Your cravings for taco...
I'll just get a little closer. Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass. Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much.
Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Kristen Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh!
Ho, ho, ho! Lovato driving. They're going to count it. Gallegos. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. There's Natalia Chavez. Good spin. Takes it.
Here's Ramos. Nice jump stop to the...
Maybe gambling a little bit. Oh, there's that.
Hill, little step, high window with him. Got the second.
To the middle. Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Like crazy out there. You got snow on the west side.
No
Look
snow.
out the window. You got no snow.
Clouds.
It's
Occasional
snow hole.
dust.
Dude, occasional. It's like I was up all night listening to the wind. Got a little dusting of snow. What do you got downtown, Micah?
Nada.
Snow hole. When the canyon winds come through and create a snow hole. Albany Drive. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. See the big hubbubaloo about Ronchetti being back on TV? Oh. All right.
Did it shock someone that he wants a job after not having one?
I don't know if I told you. I know I told Addie and Audra. I said, I am certain if he loses, I thought he'd be back on TV the next day. Like, I was sure he had to deal with 13. That Mark was obviously very good and very popular as a weather forecaster, as a meteorologist, as a television meteorologist. And I thought there was no doubt that if he lost the Senate race, he would be back in that position. And he was as of last week. And I know people saying he should have a job. Can we make a distinction? Do we agree that a meteorologist, the weather forecast, is not a journalist?
Yes. Okay.
And so there was a story in the paper yesterday, and one of the local journalism, whatever it was, that this is somehow bringing into question the integrity of the journalism at Channel 13. I don't know, man. Is it going to snow or is it not going to snow? Like, I don't know. Is there with everything in our life, and I think this is the only thing, sports, politics, border security, everything, there's conspiracy theories. The left thinks one way, the right thinks the other. Is there one thing that we kind of agree on? Is it freaking snowing outside? Is it cold or is it warm? Like, honestly, is it cloudy or is it rainy? Oh no, there's a conspiracy theory. Trump's bringing in the rain. He wants to rain on Biden's parade. No. It was just a storm. It's climate change. That's why it's raining. I mean, honestly, isn't there one thing we can agree on? Left, right, center, wherever you are, it's flippin' windy and cold and somewhat snowy outside right now. Can we all agree on that? Well, JJ, it's not snowy on the west side.
I don't know if I
might
can
be
trust
everywhere.
him to ask the hard-hitting questions go out there and yell at the clouds. Are you going to rain? Will you rain clouds?
I just and here's the deal. If you don't agree with him politically, like that's cool, man. Your option is
79, that's a joke. It's going to be 77.
It was only 77. I call BS on that. My backyard thermometer said 77. I had 8 inches of snow in my backyard, and he said there was only 3 inches of snow. Someone said to me, well, I'm just not going to watch him. All right, that's cool, man. That's your thing. You don't have to. But doesn't the man have the right to earn a living and go to work?
Yeah, I don't see a problem with him doing the weather.
It's a freaking weather,
That's
man.
He's behind the scenes pulling the strings for everything else.
I just...
Sleet here at the ProView office, so I wouldn't call it a snow.
It's a sweet...
a sleet.
It's sleet. All right. Yeah. I mean, with everything that's political, because everything is, how you look at your sports. Oh, it's the governor's not letting them play. No, the governor's protecting people. No, damn it, the governor's ruining Lobo athletics. So, okay. I mean, everything in our life, right? Stock market, everything. The weather is pretty much, it's either raining or it's not. It's sunny or it's not. It's going to, and they all tell me the same thing. Like the models, I don't know if they all get them from the same place now, but they're all, we've gotten to a point with weather forecasts. They're pretty good. Actually, they're pretty good. We used to sit here a few years ago, oh yeah, they're wrong. They're pretty good now. They all, I mean, doesn't the man have a right to work? Wherever your politics are. And like I said, I was told that I'm not going to watch him. Okay, cool. You don't have to.
Told me it was going to snow. It's not snowing. I don't know if I can trust it.
Yeah, damn. There ain't no climate change. Yes, there is. No, there's not. Yes, there is. See, it snowed. All right. Reply to Monday OD caller. Gus. Remember, who was it yesterday said they should go to the Princeton office? Because Dave Pilipovich is on the squad, and he ran it at Air Force, and so it should be easy to put in. Gus says, when I hear Lobo basketball needs to drop to NAIA and play Fort Lewis, needs to go to the Princeton-style office, it eerily reminds me of, quote, this is a unique place. It is what it is. To be successful here, I think you need to do something a little different that opponents don't see every day, end quote. It's Bob Davey talking about running the option. I mean, and that's what he hears. I don't think that's a horrible analogy, to be honest with you. I don't. Bob Davies going to do what Air Force does because he felt that they were limited. And that's what that caller yesterday was asking for. Well, they should run the Princeton offense. How hard would it be to install? It's just a bunch of back cuts, and you got a guy sitting there. It's got to be easy.
Well, I think the Lobos are going to slow it down, whether it's Princeton style or something else. They're going to limit possessions and hopefully play low-scoring games.
Tella says McQuatch Malawatch has to be the guy. My favorite player has to be the guy that keeps the other team's defensive coordinator up the night before the game. He just has to, because Lobo basketball has very few other options right now. I know it's only January 19th, but really? But has Lobo basketball pretty much guaranteed themselves needing to win 4 in 4 days in March?
1 minute.
In their return to the Thomas and Mack? Yes. Yes. I mean, they might even be mathematically locked into 4 already, right? Yes. All right, we'll get back to you when we get back. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. Is the Jared Porter situation, he's the general manager of the Mets, is that somehow a stain on the New York Mets? I'm going to tell you no. I'll tell you why. There's enough stains on the Mets that they deserved. I don't think they deserve this stain. I want to know what you think. It's the opening drive. We're on ProView Networks and 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Reverse layup. Gallegos spins. Window. Finishes.
There's a run coming from
lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly, Cardinals fly. To the other side, provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown, Webskowski. An 8. 2 receivers at the top. Harris has all day. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man. Touchdown. Wildcat. Not a defender inside.
A little bit.
Webskowski on the sideline. Hasta mañana. He's off to the races. Touchdown, Clovis.
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Rancho late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy towards the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
So they'll send one deep and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Lobo basketball on the road, 53-46. Led so much of that game. Led at halftime. Led with 5 minutes to go. Lost their 8th in a row. How you feeling about it? It's the opening drive at 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal. Down the stretch, turned the ball over, didn't make shots. Got to learn how to win, they say. I think that's right. You got to learn how to win. You got to be in some close games. Valdir Manuel said after the game, it's the first time we've been in one of those. Yep, well, that's right. That's right. You beat Our Lady of some lake somewhere by 100, and you beat French restaurant Le Torno. And then you get blued out a bunch of times. Yeah. It's the first time you've been in one of those. So, all right, 505-246-0610. I want to get into the Mets thing, too, a little bit more. They fired Jared Porter, their general manager, who they just hired. Because in 2016, when he was working for a different organization, the Cubs, he basically harassed, I don't even basically, digitally harassed a female reporter, sending her unwanted text messages and then a picture of his junk and, oh, wait, it wasn't his junk. A picture of someone's junk, claims it wasn't his. And I just, I'm going to tell you, and then we'll go to phones. JJ, to me, this isn't on the Mets, okay? Nobody seemed to know about this. I don't know how they're supposed to know. Like I've heard, they should have known. Diamondbacks hired him. He worked for the Diamondbacks after that. They didn't know. This reporter, this young lady from another country with language barrier, a country in which women are always blamed for these things, didn't know what to do. She's now out of the industry, and she came forward with this. I don't know how you would have known. JJ, I don't know what you do in your spare time. I don't know what Micah does. You guys don't know what I do. I just, you can ask questions all you want. You can look at police reports and blotters and fact check. And would you sit in a meeting and ask a guy, hey, did you ever send a reporter? Like if you didn't know about this?
No. The thing people are saying you should have known because ESPN had the story 4 years ago.
How did ESPN have it 4 years ago and not report it?
Because the woman at the center of it said, please do not put this out. This is going to destroy my career. Back to the conversation of ultimately she would be blamed for it and then lose her job.
Well, but so should the Mets have known if it wasn't out? There was.
Well, that's where it's coming from. Like people thinking because ESPN had this story. Well, the reporters at the time agreed, saying, "Okay, we understand that if this story comes out, it could harm you.
Yeah.
So we will not release this." So they also didn't go around telling everyone else.
Right. Otherwise, the story would have been out. Yeah. And then as soon as they found out, they fired him within 12 hours, which feels like the right thing to do. Like to me, this isn't the Mets have plenty of stains, but this isn't a stain on the Mets to me. 505-246-0610. Let's go. Grady, good morning. Get a little snow up in the village?
You know, I was just telling Micah that we got a couple inches on the ground and it's snowing right now. So we'd like to say around these parts, it's a little dusting right now.
That's nice. That's good.
Not too bad. Not too
we
bad.
Need it.
Man, you guys are speaking my language this morning. I'm digging the conversation. So I am not politically neutral. However, I will try to be with this particular take. So let's talk about the governor and the governor's policies towards athletics. And yes, the voices to let colleges and high school kids play is growing louder. But I think the difference is now it appears that they're being listened to. And quite frankly, the reason why, this is purely my opinion, I don't know the governor from when she was in a sorority, or I don't have any kind of insider information. It seems to me that the governor and her administration, they're well aware that nothing we're going to do moving forward is going to happen without federal assistance. And the soon-to-be previous administration, their policy was longstanding, states, you take care of it. And if that's the case, well, then they thought that we just couldn't take care of it properly. And then there were the rumors that this particular governor, she has ties to the Biden administration, this and that. So she probably has been in some communication with them and maybe found out their plan, et cetera, and maybe feels comfortable that, okay, if we start moving forward, there's actually going to be some federal assistance to help us. Because, Travasani could have said what he said 6 months ago. But I think now that there's going to be a certain transition, now that there's going to be a certain team in place that might be more acceptable to helping states like New Mexico, I do think there is going to be some movement on sports playing Lobos high school athletics. And is it political? It absolutely is political, but maybe not in the way that people were thinking. It's not some nefarious plot to destroy the state so someone can go and have a Washington, D.C. job again. So that's where I'm coming from. And I will say this. I 100% agree with you in regards to a meteorologist not being a journalist. That's 100% true, and 100% folks have a right to a job and to earn a living. It just kind of makes me chuckle that someone who's not a journalist, someone who does a job where the models do 99% of it, was a stone's throw away from being a senator. That doesn't say anything about him versus us. But anyway, as usual, gentlemen, appreciate the time.
Thank you, sir. I think we all, I think they can be exclusive of each other. I mean, just because one is a meteorologist on television doesn't mean one can't be a good senator. It doesn't mean one can be either. I think Grady's obviously judged the individual, and that's fine. I'm not going to make a blanket statement there. I'm just not. We've got baseball players and football. Right? Wasn't Tom Osborne the football coach at Nebraska? A longtime senator in Nebraska.
You as a person, as opposed to what you did.
That's right. That's right.
But what you did can give you an advantage. Tommy Tuberville is in government because he was a football. So
that's exactly right.
Things play into it in terms of popularity, because how many people a lot of times just looking at a list going, "Oh, I know that name." Check.
The name recognition is huge. J.C. Watts, the former Oklahoma quarterback, was a longtime lawmaker. I don't know if he was a rep or a senator, but yeah, I'm going to stop short of being exclusive because you're this, you can't be that, or because you're this, you can be that. I think to your point, JJ, it's on the individual. Are voices being heard now? It feels that way for whatever reason. I think different voices are listening now too. I think you've got more people involved. I think you've got louder voices, and you got a different situation. So all I know is if it lets the kids play, I'm listening. It's interesting. It gets to this. Harold says, "Can we talk about Lobo volleyball?" I don't know. Can we? I noticed teams around the country are playing their friendlies this week, and the games that count start this weekend. Yet I'm going to have to put the face of head coach Tom Paul Glaser on the back of a milk carton. What's going on here? I assume we're going to have action at Johnson Gym in the very near future? ? Heard nothing. And until here's what I understand. Okay, New Mexico State played the other day. I think they played at Arizona. From what I understand, they're practicing outside of the state. They're planning on playing. The Olympic sports at UNM, I don't know how they're going to play unless they can play at home. And I think this is why there's so much pressure being put on, and there's such a momentum right now. Today's a big day. Today the legislature starts. I know Eddie's been talking to the governor's team. Lieutenant governor's been involved. There's new people involved. Like if there's going to be baseball, track and field, volleyball, whatever's being pushed back, whatever's happening, it's got to happen soon. And JJ, they can't take all these things to Dixie or to Lubbock or wherever. Like they can't afford that. Baseball, if you're going to tell me they're going to play all road games, I think they might be willing to listen to that, but they've got to be able to train here. They've got to be able to practice here. And I think that's why Harold hasn't heard anything.
Is at least get practice going, and then if you can practice here, while it's not ideal, then if you have to play all your games on the road, at least you get to play. But the biggest key to all that is practicing here, using what you have here, and not investing X amount of dollars in a bunch of Olympic sports have to do things outside the state.
Yeah, they just can't afford to house all their teams on the road. They just can't. And I understand that. And this is where, I would hope the team in Santa Fe, and look, now you've got a whole nother set of obstacles, right? As hard as it was to be heard, as hard as it was to get your point across, now you've got legislation. Their legislature is in session. So now you got a 60-day session going on up there as well. So there's all kinds of other diversions. JJ, I've said this for this is kind of the feed the beast concept to me. I know that there is a fatigue at the governor's office level, whether the governor's dealing with it or whomever it is, and I know who the people that are dealing with sports, high school sports, college sports, they are tired of it. They feel that they've dealt with it, but they haven't, because they push things off. Now, if they just said flat out, boom, absolutely not, it's not going to happen, and it got away, which would have been the wrong thing to do. They pushed it, and here we are. We're at the threshold. They're tired of dealing with it. If they would have dealt with it in a manner where here's how it is, and in fact they kind of did. There was that whole 91-page document on how, and part of it was intercollegiate athletics. Except for that one piece, that if the infection rate in your county is above 8 in 100,000, and we know it's way above that, then you're shut down. If they'd have eliminated that one piece, it would have been dealt with and gone on. They wouldn't have to hear from everybody anymore. But because they keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and high school, we're at that point. They've got to deal with it. I get it, man. They're tired of hearing it. But at some point, you got to deal with it. And that's where we are. And that Lobo sports, Aggie sports, high school sports, and again, JJ, I understand San Jose State's on the road because that's a county issue. This is the only state in the union. And I understand that we've got limited hospital space. Like I am sensitive to all that. I've lost dear friends. I'm like, I don't do much. All right. I'm very respectful of this virus. But how? And I told you the other day, if our numbers were so much better than everybody's, I'd say, look what we're doing. I'd be proud of it. But they're not. And our kids are hurting. How are we just so much smarter than everybody else? We're the only state in the union doing this. Like there's models out there now that it can be done in a relatively safe manner and allow these things to continue and not destroy them. And that's where these people are coming from.
And you bring it up, it's because they haven't made a decision. You might be frustrated, but it's still part of your job to answer that among everything else and address it. And I think the county thing and then the pro sports aspect of it don't make sense because there's been zero movement. Like if you want to have this, if we're in this conversation middle of last summer, where there's still so much uncertainty, it's not like we have all the answers, but we've seen how things play out. We've seen, all right, what these teams are doing. If there's a positive test, you quarantine, you pause, you get healthy, you try to limit outbreaks. But like the plan is there, as you've said, but there's been zero movement addressing what we've seen, and thus the frustration.
Yeah. And now we're going to go on a second sports year or a second calendar year, and you're going to cancel things again. It's detrimental on so many levels, and I get it. Death is detrimental. Death is real. People are dying. Like, please, I'm not downplaying that at all. I'm not telling you open up the world and let's all just run around without masks and open up the bars and have concerts. And again, although as much as I'd like that, I'm willing to wait my turn on that. But we're watching high school sports happen. What it's doing to these kids, and it's time. Like it feels beyond time, and hopefully there is some progression on this. 505-246-0610. That's how to get to us. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Mahomes with the snap, floats it toward the back.
That's off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
With his first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it. They're really... Oliveras. Wild three, and it hit.
Another steal nearly by Hidon. It is a steal. Avalos ahead to Hidon. The two-hand hammer by Hidon. I knew he was going to put that one down.
ProView Networks tonight.
District matchup there.
Davidson took it away in transition. Might be time for a jam. Yes.
Oh! Nick Barton, watch him, coach. Watch the inbounder.
Dumas Sanchez in the corner.
Back to Barton with 2.4 seconds left. Fires for the win. And he got it! It's good.
Oh my God!
On the last second shot.
He did.
Oh my God! Bakes it in from 25 feet and watch the celebration right in front of us. What a shot by Barton. He was double teamed and somehow found a way to get it in.
Ramos to Gaxiola, high window for the win. It's good. It counts. Gaxiola with the game winner for a Driscoll Heritage.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rawlins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
All right, Mets GM Jared Porter acknowledges sending explicit messages. He's gone. He gone. Harden, Durant, no Kyrie. They beat the Bucks 125-123 yesterday. Warriors come back on the Lake Show 115-113. Lobos get beat yesterday in Vegas 53-46. We'll be talking about that a lot. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Alden, Josh, poking his head. It's me. You can watch the show on ProView Networks and listen on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. All right. Let's do it. Lance, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, sir.
Good morning. I would think I was a first-time caller. Even Micah, what do you want to talk about? Instead, Aurora Man, But anyway, Jennifer Riordan Foundation. Now, loving, caring, and sharing. Is that the person that you got that from?
Absolutely. Yes.
And
it's the wristband that I wear every day that says it.
Going on Channel 4, and
yep.
I don't know how to bring it forward, because if it wasn't for this station, and guys, I say like Edward, just right out of nowhere, I'm in a hospital, no family around. Brings me underwear, socks, and T-shirts. you know, and I know I give him a hard time, but he's like my little brother, you know. It's so it works in this station as a whole family of people. I mean, they don't understand, and you know, and the whole society. It's like, I mean, you know, of course I hate being on hold with Edward on, like Big Donald, you know, but. And don't take too seriously when I poke at people for fun, you know. But I think we need to do something for the sports animal to pay it forward. I don't know how else to do it. I can't do it myself. They're not going to listen to me. But, I mean, they need to know that you say that every day, you know. And it's very important to me that I hear that at the end of the day. And I very much appreciate it. I've never met that person. I don't know. But that's just the thing, you know. I mean, they need to put it in your hands to pay it forward to other people, just to recognize you for saying that every day.
No.
As far as helmet to helmet goes, so we're going in a different direction. And it's like that was helmet to helmet, but they can't review it or whatever, I guess. I thought they could, you know, but that play was really bad all the way around. But the rule, I like the rule. You mess up inside your end zone, that's your deal.
That's right.
You know, and I remember going over the helmet-to-helmet thing, and the guys they rolled up on me on my way back to the huddle and broke my ankle at Siembieda. The first game and the second game of the year, I think it was. And, you know, I had to put a splint on. I played with a broken ankle the whole season.
Of course.
We had a week off, and so I was able to heal up really fast, do all my thing. So the dude's talking trash to me, both of them, the lineman and the running back, All-American running back. And I walked up and said, "Are you parents up there?" I'm dressed in all black. "Yeah, they're right there." Wave at them. "See that ambulance at the end of the driveway right there is the Wilson Stadium. Tell them that's where you're going to get your ride home."
Dang, that's good.
You know, that's where you're going to go. You know, you're a cheap shot. And so there's a punt. It's in the middle of the day. It's a playoffs now. It's not just a regular game. It's the playoffs. And boom, I nailed him helmet to helmet, and he fumbled the ball. We scored, you know, and, you know, Matt Aragon picked up the ball and ran it into the end zone.
Matt Aragon.
You know, so just, you know, helmet, that's why you're wearing a helmet. It is a weapon, you know, and
all right.
Why else are you wearing a helmet anyway?
To protect yourself.
So anyway, I got my payback for that, and I'm an awful
pay it forward.
Son of a gun when it comes to the end of the day.
I'll
But
bet.
you make it to where at the end of this program always makes me feel a little bit better, Jeff.
That's what we're here for, Lance. I appreciate the story, and thanks. I just let me just tell you, I don't need anything for that. JJ, you know I love Jennifer, and since the day she passed, we closed the show. At least when I'm here with that, literally, I got the bracelet that I wear every day. It says "Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing." It's just a legacy that she had, and her family. And Mike carries on the foundation, and it means a lot to me, and so that's why I do it. And I think it's the right message, and I'm glad it helps Lance out, and hopefully it helps others. That's all. Just a message, but hopefully you hear it. It's like anything else. You hear it enough, maybe you'll do it. I don't know. It was
great words to have on your mind.
Yeah. All right. You want me? It was for some emails on Lobo basketball, JJ.
What are they saying?
Maurice is in on the point guard. I asked your boy Ned, by the way. So Ned came in when I forgot Zane Martin, and I asked even Ned, more point guards or quarterbacks over the last 4 years. He kind of, maybe more quarterbacks. I'm not sure. He said, Maurice says, you asked how could Lobo basketball be caught in a position without consistent point guard? Well, Weir had him. Remember Drew Drennan, Daniel Headings, even Tavion Percy? For whatever reason, those guys weren't willing to wait their turn, or they looked great in shorts and T-shirts but didn't translate to the pitch. Who's the best point guard that they've had?
Not a point guard.
Yeah, Tavian Percy never was.
A bunch of players, but he didn't name point guards.
Drew Drennan didn't work. I mean, there's been a bunch of guys. I thought Antino was good. What year was he? Was he a junior when he transferred out of here after 1 year?
No, Jackson transferred in as a senior.
Right. Oh, it was okay. That was a senior transfer. Okay, that's right. And you had some good leadership. It's always felt to me like you want bigs, you need scores, all those things, and on a basketball team you need all that. I would be really every 3 years trying to find that cerebral, heady leader point guard. And I don't know how you find it. How did Steve find Doris Gary? Noodles, I think, is responsible for finding.
He was recruiting Doris Gary to a Big Ten school.
Yeah, but how did he find? Like, how did he know that was the guy, right? And that's the guy I need to come here, right? Whatever it was that was the it guy, because Doris Gary was perfect for 4 years for that program, was he not?
Hmm?
I don't know how you find him. I mean, that's what makes you so good as a coach, as a recruiter. James is in on the women, right? They got a quarantine, right? He says, I know all classes at the university are online this week because of students returning to school for their out-of-state Christmas adventures. So are the women on quarantine? I would assume while they're home they are, and then they'll go. David says, Rudy is delusional. Okay. I'm sure he's been called worse. Lobo coaches won't figure it out. I'm tired of everyone praising the experience of the coaching staff. And now Dr. Weir has 4 assistants who were head coaches. Yes, they were all head coaches, but they are currently ex-head coaches who were all fired from their previous jobs because they didn't do a good job. Plus, having a preseason wouldn't have addressed the lack of point guard. Francis can't shoot. Marin can't even make an inbounds pass. Clay Patterson is better than both and isn't even suited up. David, I don't know that Clay Patterson's better than both. Why do we always love the local guy? Well, if we're going to stink, play the local guy.
QB5.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Inbounds passes, JJ. Yesterday, inbounds plays were a disaster. Why?
Practice.
We're talking about
practice. That's where you get better at things like that.
I mean, there were some tense moments just trying to inbounds the ball. On Ronchetti, Jack says, Jeff, you knew he was coming back to Channel 13 because you noticed they never filled his position. They kept bringing up minor leaguers to make spot starts. I thought they did fill it. Wasn't that one dude, blonde dude, I guess I should know his name, Grant something? Like, what happened to that dude?
He was just on loan from a fellow news station.
So they just sent him back down to Hartford or Midland or whatever?
We'll take his contract for a couple months and then we'll send it back to you.
He's on loan to Midland now? Like what? I don't know. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. I want to get into a little bit of the NBA stuff. I'll get you more of your opinion. But JJ, what does it mean last night that Harden and Durant beat Milwaukee, a full squad Milwaukee? And are they going to make this run without Kyrie? And would they be better off to do it that way? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Introducing Project Shot.
Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy, and it's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovis.
That replay. I got you. Measurement. I mean, Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
He'll run with it. Stumbling. Gets down into the end zone. And looking to throw it. And he throws it in the end zone. Caught!
First and 10 from the 11. And spin move for Smith. Push the B button. Dance into the end zone.
They'll throw it. Looking. Here comes the rush. Stepping up. Pavia now running around. Being chased. Looks across. Throws it up. Man's wide open. Ball is caught. Touchdown. Siembieda. Dropping, looking, stepping up. He's going to run. He's got a lot of green in front of him. To the end zone. Touchdown. Rio Rancho, Isaiah Chavez. Chavez set. He's going to run with it again and dives and...
It's Austin Smith, and to the outside, a lot of room. Look out, a foot race down the sideline. All the way on the first play from scrimmage, Chris. That's a touchdown.
Scrambling. And great hit. He bounces off outside. Got some daylight at the 20, the 10, the 5. What an incredible run.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been.
47 seconds to go. Durant with it up top. Moves it left, cut off, back of the wing. Harden's got it. 3 on the way. No good, too strong. Harden his own rebound. Out to Durant. Open 3. Gone! Oh, KD! On the offensive rebound by the beard. And the Nets take a 2-point lead with 34 seconds to go.
Nets radio 125-123. Brooklyn over Milwaukee yesterday. Kevin Durant had 30 points to go with 9 rebounds. James Harden had 34 points to go with 12 assists in a big win without Kyrie Irving. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, Micah, Josh, and Alden. So JJ, it's a big loss for the Bucks, I think, just because everybody was there. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Middleton and Drew Holiday, and they were full. And Giannis went for 34 and 12. But a big statement, I think, for Brooklyn, and without Kyrie Irving. Look, I don't know when Kyrie's coming back. There's part of me that wants to tell you that they're better, and I'm always the guy who says, you can't tell me you're not better with one of the best players at a position in there. But I wonder if they might be better positioned to make a run without him. I think obviously he's coming back at some point. But where are you with that whole dynamic? Is that going to work?
This one is harder to see working because they're all dribblers. And when we've had these discussions in the past, and I recall it so vividly, and when LeBron went to Miami with Chris Bosh, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, how's this going to work? Chris Bosh is a forward who doesn't need the basketball. And you can have 2 dominant ball players survive in that game. We've seen it over the history of time, so it wasn't that big of an issue. But in this case, James Harden and Kyrie are the same exact player. So who are you telling doesn't get to dribble? Like, who's playing the Klay Thompson role off the basketball, hitting shots, doing everything else without the basketball? Because you want KD to handle it. You want him to take advantage of mismatches. James Harden is a baller, a playmaker at a high level. And obviously it feels like Kyrie is the odd man out, because who's going to function as the Klay Thompson in this scenario? Sure as heck isn't going to be Kyrie, because he's not going to handle it. I don't want KD or Harden giving up the basketball. So as they sit right now, they're better without Kyrie Irving, because just in 2 games, they've already destroyed the league and beat their biggest opponent in the Eastern Conference, Milwaukee.
At some point, he's coming back. I mean, I think, at least for a while. I agree with you. I'm not sure I think it works either. I don't know how you expect all those guys who are ball dominant to coexist, especially a guy like Kyrie. Look, I have no issues with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's going to figure it out. Kevin Durant's going to be the alpha. Kevin Durant's going to get his. Kevin Durant's the best player in that conference. You brought Harden in. Harden's there right now. Harden and Kevin Durant have played together before. I think it works. They figure that out. Kevin Durant wouldn't have signed off on the trade if that wasn't going to work. The Kyrie thing is because you don't know what's going on in his head, first of all. To me, is as big as anything else. Kyrie, to me, would be the candidate to be that off-the-ball guy. Just game-wise, if he was willing to accept that and say, all right, let me see if this works, let's go win a championship. I just don't know that you can trust him above the shoulders, A, to show up for work, and then be that teammate. He's never been that teammate. Now, you can tell me it's blown up everywhere Harden's been, and you'd be right. But until this last few months, Harden's been willing to accept.
I would push back on that narrative that it's blown up. They traded him from OKC because they decided to sign Serge Ibaka and go with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, not because he blew it up.
No, I didn't say it's blown up for him. Kyrie, it's blown up.
Oh,
no, not Harden. No. Up until the last few months with
Kyrie,
Harden.
absolutely with Kyrie.
Yeah, no. With Harden, it's worked until the last few months. Pretty much everywhere he's been, he's adapted and been willing to. No, I didn't say that on Harden. I'd say it on Kyrie.
I'm with you. I heard Harden and.
Yeah, and if I said Harden, I misspoke, and I apologize. No, that's not my intent. So that's why, it works. And if I'm Steve Nash right now, play what you got, and when Kyrie Irving comes back, he's got to fit into this, and it's a different world than when he left.
Yeah, and it's a question of, is he willing to do it? Because the answer is it absolutely can work. It 100% can work if one of them takes a different role. And so you kind of all eyes start turning to Kyrie and saying, all right, Kyrie, yeah, you might have been the one that was here first, but you ain't here now. And what are you going to be when you come back? So he's close. He's doing like 3-on-3 work, hasn't quite gotten back. So he's back with the basketball team. He should be getting back to full basketball practice this week. And then whether it works or implodes, the Nets are must-see television.
Who's Joe Harris?
Harris.
Second-round pick in 2014 out of Virginia who went for 20 last year.
Baller. He's a three-point shootout champion.
Is that
he
right?
was good last year. He's a perfect player to play off of whatever court is because he just shoots. He's that dude. Joe Harris. Put some respect
He balled last night. No, he balled last night.
They signed him to like $70 million. So they know he can.
Damn, Joe Harris. And he didn't even have to send pictures of his junk to women in the elevator that we know of. Right? I mean, he's not that thirsty now. He knows who he is. He's a baller. All right. 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. When we come back, I will get you the rest of your comments. And you got quite a bit on Louisville basketball last night, Ronchetti. We're still available for you. You can send emails to Jeff at 610knml.com, JJ at 610knml.com. Want your thoughts on the Mets general manager situation? We haven't got into Pat Mahomes' mom getting on the Twitter, going after the dude that knocked her son out of the game. Never ends well. Gentlemen, I hope the new year's off to a great start. How you feeling? Hope you're feeling great. But if you are not, if you're maybe feeling sluggish, dealing with fatigue, low energy, low T, erectile dysfunction, you can take care of it. Call New Mail. You can feel like you again. New Mail is the leader in men's health. They're here in Albuquerque. They've helped thousands of men all over the country feel better. What's more important than your health right now? Especially right now. Taking care of you, feeling well should be a priority, and New Mail makes it possible. Call them at 505-652-1688 or visit NewMail. That's NUMALE.com. The whole process is comfortable. The results are absolutely real. From the phone call to your first visit all the way through the treatment, NewMail will be with you. They'll help you take care of low energy, even hair loss or erectile dysfunction. Their testosterone replacement utilizes cutting-edge technology. They are out front of all this when it comes to men's health. Call them. 505-652-1688. Guys, take care of yourself. Make the call, 505-652-1688, or visit newmail.com, and you'll feel better.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh.
There's a long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Ford driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good. Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
And Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalan wants to put it down. But here comes Screechers. Brown, you can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition, 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Whoa, Morgan. That ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Forward dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass, wrap around pass.
Harris, Legate, the long bomb, 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
A little jump step in the... And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. Taylor Bond back. LAU, put it down. Dunkalicious. How about it?
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
He used to coach for Del Norte. And
here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Trying to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And Hotnet sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. BC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh! Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Ball's loose. DJ Bustos brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous.
We were young in Oklahoma City. You know, we're grown men now. You know, we know what we want. We really know the game of basketball now. You know, we're not those young guys that just run around and want to just shoot and dunk all day. We know the games, we know spots, we know, teams players. We're more advanced. And then for me, as I sit back, I know what type of player Kevin Durant is. He's one of the best players that ever touched a basketball. As God-given, 7 foot, can basically do everything. So for me, it's not trying to compete with that. It's allowing Kevin to be the best Kevin he can be, and I'm gonna make sure that I can make him better and then make my teammates better.
That's James Harden after last night's victory, 125-123. The Nets beat the Bucks, talking about the maturity, the difference this time around and when he was teammates with Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City when they were just kids.
I love that. What kind of player is Kevin Durant? The kind of guy you give the basketball to and then get out the way.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Oh, who wants the basketball? Kevin? Okay, here you go.
That dude right there, the big, tall, lanky dude with stupid skills. That's right. All right, Patrick Mahomes, I think we'll find out on Sunday whether or not the Chiefs quarterback is going to play in the AFC Championship game, but his mother took to Twitter. So there was the hit that knocked him out by Mack Wilson. Did you think the hit was dirty? I mean, to me, there was nothing dirty about that tackle. Wasn't helmet to helmet, didn't slam him to the ground. It was unfortunate. It was something happened in his neck. To me, there was nothing dirty about the hit. And sometimes the innocuous hits, crashes are the ones that are the most dangerous. But to me, there was nothing.
The defender taking the quarterback down hard to the ground, which is their job.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes' mom went to Twitter. Randy went on and called Mack Wilson evil. Said number 51, evil never wins. And basically calling it a dirty hit. I thought Mack Wilson's response on the Twitter was really good. He tweeted back at Randy Mahomes, quote, "No disrespect, Mom. I'm just playing hard. This is a dangerous game we play, and we take a risk every time we step foot on the field. I'm happy that Pat is okay, but mind you, I've never been a dirty player. I just want to win and be great like your son. Prayer hands and heart." I don't know what better response you could have sent. Ma'am, not being dirty, playing football, your son's great, and I want to be like him. I don't even know how she could clap back at that man.
No, that is a great response. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
You understand it's a different feeling when your mama bear sees something happen to her cub. She's going to be on fire regardless of the situation. But this is one where it was a hard football play because they are playing football, which is a physical and dangerous sport to play. Now, if he would have gotten up with Patrick Mahomes' helmet and head in his hands and ran off the field, yeah, it's a different situation. This was just a tough tackle, and he landed at a funky angle and took a bad shot from it.
All right. Let me get through some emails that we got in. This one's on Grady, and it's from Dave. Yeah, Grady, the person that defeated Mark Ronchetti was a casino dealer. What's your point? You can't come from somewhere to be a senator. You just somehow there's a pedigree. I don't know. Terry said the easiest job in America, JJ, is a weather person's report in San Diego. It'll be 80 and sunny. Back to you, Bill. What about the 7-day forecast? It'll be 80 and sunny. It's not as easy as you think, Terry, because you have to give the surf report.
Ooh, surf
That's
report.
part of the weather report on the TV in San Diego is you got to let me know what the swells are going to be and where, as it the south-facing beaches are going to have big swells, what time of day. I need to know a surf report. It's not as easy as just going through Quemado and giving me the weather in Alamosa and Los Alamos. I got to have a surf report in there. So it's not as easy as you think. Yeah, 72 and sunny. All right, fair enough. I know it's going to be that. And that's just a given. That's all I'm saying. Lancer is the OD answer, says Bad Street. Lancer pays it forward with every call. Yes, he does. All right, this is John on Lobos transition defense. Here's an old but novel practice. This used to work for transition D and was enforced by my high school coach in the 70s. Get your butt back and cut off the passing lanes. Try and stop the ball on the forecourt and guard the first guy you see close to you. No say, but hustling back seems to be their number one issue. Man, Al Bundy's everywhere today. I'm just saying. I'm hearing a lot of back of the day.
Low basketball. Trying to defense wasn't a problem. And by the way, I'm a big fan of I am that guy. I yell stop the ball, so I make sure someone else stops the ball in transition defense and let everyone know that's what they have to do.
I don't know that last night I felt that their issue was transition defense. Do you? Because I mean it has been in the past, but I
think we get to defense last night.
I thought they played. I mean they held them at 53 points last night. Well, the other guys missed shots. How come always it's when they make shots, it's bad defense, and when they miss shot, well, they just miss shots. Like, you know, like I thought Lobo defense was decent last night. I'm not telling you it was great. Yeah, they missed shots. And here, let me give you the other side of this because I was thinking of this and I haven't got to this yet. Watching them play, so we were asked yesterday, is it the offense or is it they can't hit shots? I thought their ball movement on the offensive side, and especially in the first half, and I know they were winning at halftime, but I felt they should have been winning by more. Lobos just miss open shots. Lobos just they're not good shooters. Like, I thought they got plenty of good looks, not just last night, but in the game prior. I think their offense, from what I watched the last couple of games, to me isn't the offense. It's they're not making shots. And again, I asked you earlier, are they just not good shooters or their shots not falling? Offensively, they're getting looks.
Yeah,
Am I watching something different?
I, as much as we talk about the point guard, I don't think it's going to matter. Because, Francis could be throwing the best passes ever. Marin could be out there like getting open looks. They don't have shooters. And so that's why I'm like, at this point in time, a guy that's aggressive, that's at least shown you flashes of finishing inside. It's Singleton. And I want him at least initiating offense because you can get some offense out of him as opposed to finding a point guard, because we're not talking necessarily about the point guard not setting up other people. It's, well, whoever was playing point guard was one of 31 leading up to this series.
Yeah. And that's when we had this conversation earlier. Do you start running some offense through the post? And especially in games where you're not playing a name as Keita or Mbake Jean. I don't know if the Mensa qualifies for that with San Diego State. You'll see him not in this next series, but the series after, where there isn't a dominant big, a shot-blocking, shot-altering big. Do you start running some offense through the post? Now, that doesn't mean that the post guy's got to take 15 shots. But can you open up some mid-range? Can you get some scoring out of the post? And that comes down to is Valdir Manuel and Byron Matos good enough to score in the post yet? And if not, man, you're 0-8. Start developing them.
I agree.
Honestly.
I'm right there with you. I liked some of the early post touches, and that's where we are when we're talking about Lobo basketball. Is I had a tweet last night, and I was like, 2 good early post touches for Byron Matos, 4 points. Like, it's the little things. Like, those guys just need the experience, need to keep working and getting those chances in games.
Yeah. All right. Tomorrow, we'll start focusing on the NFL weekend moving forward. When do you think we hear something on Mahomes? Because I just don't know that we're going to know anything until right around game time.
I'm right there with you. I think it's going to be up in the air until like the coin flip. Like, all right, who's out there? Who's on the field? Who has their helmet? Is it Mahomes or is it Henne?
So, and we didn't talk much about Chad Henne. They can't win with Chad Henne, right? I mean, they won the other day. They held on. They can't beat Buffalo with Chad Henne at quarterback, can they? Or is that system good enough?
Kansas City to beat the Buffalo Bills with Chad Henne as their starting quarterback in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I can't pick them to win that game either. Now, this is where legends are made. This is where guys come out of nowhere. This is Frank Reich's legend. He's not only known as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. He was, that Bills come back against the Oilers. Frank Reich was the guy. I mean, this is where legends are made. Don Strock was back up to Bob Greasy back in the day. But I'm not either.
But if Buffalo were to lose this game to Chad Henne, we're talking the Buffalo Bills that have lost Super Bowls. Would that be the worst loss in franchise history?
We'll discuss tomorrow. Micah, great work. Alden, Josh, it's a lot of hair on the ProView side. Good work. It is. Look at all the hair on the ProView side. It's beautiful. JJ, enjoy the day, please.
Have a day, y'all.
Jim Rome Show is next. Dan Patrick's show will follow that. Sports Bar, more local talk, Trulio and Carlisle this afternoon at 3. We're back tomorrow morning with award-winning radio at 7 a.m. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll see you tomorrow.
Plays it across the box off the dasher. It's settled. Shot on by Garcia. Trickles in. Goal.
Chavez blocked at the rim. And here's Dorian Lewis to Watson.
Shot on and just wide. Big deflection. Goal.
Over this first field goal. Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Not a game you can go have 25 turnovers in and win.
Get that out of here, Watson says. Here comes Hodnett all the way. He's blocked in return. Dickey, did he get it off? He did, and he hit it.